I never thought I would be the kind of woman to write something like this. But here I am. If you'd asked me a few years ago, I would have told you I was happily married, that I loved my husband, that our little suburban life was enough for me. But lately things have changed, and I can't deny it anymore. It all started with my neighbor. We live in a quiet cul-de-sac where everyone knows each other's names, where kids ride bikes in the street and people wave as they drive by. My husband and I moved here 4 years ago because it felt safe, comfortable, the right place to start a family. But as the years passed, routine took over. My husband, Matt, is a good man. Hardworking, loyal, reliable. He wakes up early, commutes an hour to work, comes home exhausted, eats dinner, and collapses in front of the TV until bed. I kept telling myself that was just how marriage goes after the honeymoon phase fades. Then he moved in next door. Our new neighbor, Ryan, was different. Younger, single, charming. The kind of man who looked at you when you spoke, really looked. Not just nodded absently while scrolling through his phone like Matt sometimes did. Ryan would wave when I was getting the mail, offer to help carry groceries, strike up conversations about everything from the weather to music. At first, I thought nothing of it. He was just being neighborly. But slowly, I realized I craved his attention. The first time I noticed the shift was one afternoon when I was outside gardening. Matt was still at work, and Ryan wandered over with a glass of iced tea in his hand. "You've got a green thumb," he said with that easy smile of his. "This yard's starting to look better than half the street." I laughed, brushing a strand of hair out of my face. "Thanks. I guess it's just something to keep me busy." He tilted his head. "Matt doesn't help you?" The question caught me off guard. It wasn't judgmental, just curious, but it made me realize how alone I felt in so many of these little things. "He's busy with work. By the time he gets home, he's exhausted." Ryan nodded slowly. That must be hard. I shouldn't have let those words stick with me, but they did. The validation, the simple acknowledgement, it felt intoxicating. From there, it snowballed. I found myself lingering outside longer if I saw Ryan out front, laughing too loudly at his jokes, brushing imaginary dirt from my jeans while his eyes flicked, just briefly, where they shouldn't. I told myself it was harmless, just neighborly friendship. But deep down, I knew better. The first line was crossed on a Saturday. Matt had gone into the office unexpectedly, and I was sitting on the porch when Ryan walked over. We talked for hours. He leaned in close when he spoke, and I didn't pull away. When he brushed a leaf from my shoulder, his hand lingered. The electricity between us was undeniable, and I let it happen. Later that night, when Matt kissed me goodnight, I felt a pang of guilt so sharp it nearly made me sick. But then, the next day, Ryan texted me. A simple, "Had fun talking yesterday." And the guilt dulled under the weight of excitement. It didn't take long before one thing led to another. I told myself over and over that I wouldn't cross that final line. But temptation has a way of eroding resolve. One evening, Matt was working late again. Ryan invited me over, just to hang out, watch a movie. I said yes. Sitting on his couch, the tension was unbearable. His arm brushed mine. My heart raced. When he finally leaned in to kiss me, I didn't stop him. I kissed him back with all the pent-up frustration, loneliness, and hunger I had buried for years. That night changed everything. The affair lasted for weeks. Secret moments stolen in the middle of the day, excuses made about errands or gym sessions that never happened. With Ryan, I felt alive again. Desired. Seen. He told me I was beautiful, that Matt didn't know what he had. I wanted to believe him. But the guilt. The guilt was a poison that never left my veins. Matt started to notice things. "You've been smiling a lot lately?" he said one night over dinner. His voice was warm, oblivious. He thought maybe it was because of the garden or some new hobby. I couldn't meet his eyes. Then came the night everything fell apart. It was late, and Matt had forgotten his work laptop at home. He called, asking me to bring it to him at the office. I panicked, because at that exact moment, I was at Ryan's. I scrambled to come up with an excuse, but Matt's tone grew suspicious. When I finally showed up at his office an hour later, laptop in hand, he was waiting. He asked me straight out if something was going on. I denied it, swore I loved him, swore Ryan was just a neighbor. But Matt wasn't stupid. Over the next few days, I felt him pulling away. He started checking my phone, asking where I'd been, scrutinizing my every move. The wall of trust that had once made our marriage feel safe was crumbling, and I was the one who had taken the sledgehammer to it. The breaking point came 2 weeks later. I was folding laundry when Matt walked in, holding his phone. His face was pale, his jaw tight. "You've been lying to me," he said quietly. On his screen was a text, one I hadn't deleted fast enough. Ryan's name, words I couldn't explain away. The look in Matt's eyes shattered me. Betrayal, pain, anger, and underneath it all, a quiet resignation. He didn't yell. He didn't throw things. He just said, "We're done." And just like that, my marriage was over. The aftermath was brutal. Matt moved out within days, barely speaking to me except through lawyers. He told our families, our friends. My parents were ashamed, his parents furious. The cul-de-sac that once felt so friendly turned cold. People whispered, neighbors stared. Ryan? He pulled away too. At first, he was supportive, telling me Matt would get over it, that we'd figure things out. But as the weeks dragged on, he grew distant. It became clear he never wanted something serious. Not with me. One night, when I showed up at his door, he sighed and said, "This was fun, but I didn't sign up for all this drama." He closed the door, and just like that, I lost him too. Now I sit in an empty house, surrounded by memories of the life I destroyed. Matt is thriving. I see glimpses of him on social media, smiling, traveling, even dating again. And me? I'm alone. I chased attention from the neighbor, thinking it would fill the void inside me. But all it did was leave me hollow, with nothing but regret. If I could go back, I would listen to Matt when he asked me to be careful, when he gave me his trust. But I can't. And that's the part that hurts the most.